As we live our lives, there's so many different things that we take for granted. The ability to speak, the fact that we can think for ourselves, and that almost every day we're given the opportunity to fight for what we believe in. Although, based on our previous circumstances, this wasn't always the case. In King's letter from Birmingham jail, he goes on to say that everything Hitler did in Nazi Germany was legal, while everything the Hungarian freedom fighters did in Hungary was illegal. When I first heard this quote, I couldn't help but think to myself, if there's almost nothing illegal in serving underprivileged groups, why do so few people do it? King then goes on to talk about the white moderate. In short, he says that the white moderate is more devoted to order than to justice, and that they're one of the biggest obstacles towards the Negro's freedom. In today's context, the white moderate can be interpreted as a neutralist who believes that doing nothing is okay, when the true effects of doing nothing are only contributing to both the systems of oppression and to the oppressor. I believe that Virginia Tech also falls victim heavily to the bystander effect. The bystander effect is when students are less likely to serve another group of students when bystanders are around. For example, even though plenty of students at my school are more than aware of the issues that affect underprivileged groups, a very small amount of those students actually serves those groups because I believe that they think that just because they don't do it, they think that the next group of students will. On the other hand, the small group of students that do seem to help out really only seem to do so during times of tragedy. So I realized that when students feel a personal connection to an issue, they're more likely to react, whereas in everyday situations, there doesn't lie a large enough catalyst in order to make students react in the same way. The student who struggles to go to their 8 a.m. is still more likely to go to class because they realize that if they miss class, it affects their attendance, which in turn affects their grades, which in turn affects their future, theoretically. Now, I'm not saying that grades don't matter, but I'm saying that sometimes we tend to give just a little bit too much importance to things that, in my personal opinion, depreciate in importance over time. The grades that we earned while at Virginia Tech might matter 10 years from now, but the impressions that we left on people and the connections that we made most definitely will. My freshman year, after the killing of Michael Brown, students, faculty, and the Blacksburg community came together in order to support the Black community. Students were having conversations, protests were being organized. Students were not only speaking about issues, but they were actually doing things about those issues, because we all know that words are nothing without action. But as the topic of police brutality and the killing of Michael Brown became less hot, the burning passion inside of us was reduced to a smoldering fire pit. 3 years later, this past semester, minority student organizations bounded together in an attempt to remove a self-proclaimed Nazi TA from Virginia Tech. Now, what made this collaboration between minority organizations different than past ones were that we actually considered the wants and needs of each organization when we were helping them reach their goal, and as a result learned about each other. Although we ultimately failed at removing the Nazi TA from Virginia Tech, we succeeded in being a true example of what UPROSM really means. So let me question you this. Will it take another tragic moment to bring us together for a common cause, or will we continually allow ourselves, our peers, and the rest of the Virginia Tech community continually paint a picture that only the blind can see, or rather, those with tunnel vision? Be the spark that ignites the flame and be the light at the end of their tunnel. Thank you.